Good morning. John Gilkison, Aero Stealth here. It is Thursday, February 13th, 2025, and I wanted to shoot a quick video because I have the house to myself, which has been a little rare recently, and I'm bringing you all up to speed about what's been happening with the Gilkison household. I haven't had a lot on my mind about energy efficiency or any of the subjects I typically tackle. We've been pretty busy recently. In the last month, I've, with my wife's help, of course, we tiled the bathroom floor. And this is it. It's a porcelain tile. I might have mentioned it in one of my recent videos, but we was just involved with the job then. And the reason it took so long is because these bathtub, toilet, vanity, all this had to be moved. Kind of one at a time. We'd move an appliance and then tile underneath it and then move it back and so forth, because we couldn't get everything out of the room. And so anyway, you might be hearing a dog yapping. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. I don't know if I've showed you all this before, but this is our mantle clock, which we had to have take in for cleaning. You might notice the stained glass flower in the window and the pendulum behind it. And the interesting thing about this is that you can see the reflection, the backside of the reflection of the stained glass in the pendulum as it swings back and forth. It's kind of a neat clock, really. It's an Ethan Allen. We've been dog setting a couple small dogs for our children for the last month also. So this is what all this is about. And they don't like it out there short-haired and it's cold out. It's Ripley. So let's get back to this. Also, in the past week, we've been installing a farm ranch gate, 2 of them, on our driveway, the upper part of our driveway, so we can lock the gates when we're going. They're each 10 feet long, and they'll meet in the middle, and we'll lock them together. Since we have control over the upper part of our driveway, we own it. We don't have to give the key to a neighbor or anything and then have them leave the gate unlocked when we're going. So, but I'm digressing here. I haven't been talking about any energy efficiency things, or climate change, global warming, or any of that. I may have a few comments here in a minute, but let's proceed. We have been getting ready for a trip we're going to take. and it's quite a long trip, and involves our travel trailer, and we're going to. We just had to have a tire repaired on the trailer. We took the trailer to Hatch recently to empty all the dump tanks, and we're prepping it. And before I went, I had a flat tire because it had just been setting for 4 months, and apparently it had a small puncture in the sidewall, and it just leaked the air out over a period of 4 months, and the rest of the tires still had 70 pounds of air pressure in them. So that wasn't good. You can't go on a long trip with a tire like that, so we had to replace it. And I still have yet to get the tire back on the trailer. And of course it was 32 degrees this morning, and I just don't want to go out there and lay on cold cement. I want it to warm up a little bit, but I don't want it to be too windy also. So, you stop bugging me. Go lay down. Go on. Bit of a distraction. So that's been going on. And then my oldest brother, Jim, who lives in Billings, Montana, he's in a assisted living facility. He's been in hospice. He's 89 years old, and it's come on quick within the last couple weeks. About 2 weeks ago, I had a phone conversation with him. He was fairly lucid, and we had an enjoyable conversation. Last week, I called him and tried to talk to him, but he just wasn't there. Conversation didn't work out very well. But at least, he did answer the phone. I was talking to him a little bit, mostly me talking, and I knew something was up then, and then I talked to his stepson the other day, and his body's been shutting down, and he's in the final stages with hospice, administering morphine to him for the end of life pain control, and he's not conscious, but for seconds every day. So we're expecting him to pass on, and he would be 90 years old this November. So while it's not a tragedy, I'm from a family of 6, old school. I was born in 1950, and my youngest sister was born in 1951, so we're talking, there's 6 of us, all total, including me, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And so he's the first of the brothers and sisters to pass on. And so that's all impacting us. We're all up in years, of course, now, and so you can kind of see the handwriting on the wall, and it changes you psychologically. For one thing, when your parents die, that's a wake-up call, but when your siblings start to pass on, that's a change in psychological states too. My sisters are going to try to go up there and see him before he goes, but I don't think they're going to make it, but they're going to go see the relatives for sure. So so that's going on this week. So there's been quite a bit of stuff in the news recently about the Trump administration and all the craziness that's going on there. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm like a child who goes to a horror movie. I sit there in the audience, with my hands over my eyes, but I'll peek out every once in a while, oh no, and because I don't want to know. And I think 9/10 of what he's does or attempts to do is for show, just to keep. He wants to stay in the news cycle 24/7, and he's really good at it. And the news people just go for it, hook, line, and sinker. They have been doing it for a long time, and that's the secret of his success. So they feed him. They're throwing gasoline on the fire with him, and nothing we can do about it. The American public elected him, so here we are. Just pray we can get him out of office when it comes time for him to leave. The electric vehicle community, of course, is up in alarms because he's going to end the federal tax credit. He's going to, this week he wanted to issue a blanket order suspending funding for electric vehicle infrastructure charging. Well, this is all funding set up by Congress, and you can't just have an executive order that withholds these funds when it's an act of Congress. You can't have the executive branch just overriding the Congress. It's just not done. It's not legal. So it's not that it can't be done eventually, but it can't be done this week, next month, even this year. So I'm taking a little longer term view of this, and I think he's also pissing against the wind. I mean, electric vehicles are here to stay, and it's a worldwide phenomenon, and it's a worldwide market. And if the United States doesn't produce electric vehicles and compete in the world market, our car industries are going down the toilet. And that's what's happening now. So here we are. Yes, Trump can have an impact on electric vehicle adoption in the United States and electric vehicle infrastructure during his 4-year administration. He can have an impact. Hopefully in the midterms we'll get Congress turned around, which I think typically does happen. So so I'm not overly concerned about it. I own an electric car. I do 90% of my charging at home, or more. It's just I've got a really good electric car. The electric vehicle charging infrastructure in the last couple of years has just literally doubled. So it's just stupid, as is most of the things that the Trump administration people try to do. They're incompetent. Even when they set out to do something, they're not competent enough to achieve it because they don't know what they're doing. So yes, I'm concerned. Of course I'm concerned. But on the other hand, there's a bit of comic relief in here, because this is just a damn clown show as far as I'm concerned. Now, as far as a worldwide, and not just the Trump administration, it's we are in a mutual suicide pact with a bunch of psychopaths, oil and gas psychopaths that are running the show. And they're going to kill us all to make another $1 trillion worth of profit. That's what's going on. So if you're either on board with it, or you're in denial about it and you're just excusing them, or you at least want to try to do something in your personal life. Buy an electric car, buy a heat pump water heater, get an induction stove, get a heat pump for your house, get off of propane, get off of gasoline. Stop using it, stop burning that shit, as much as you can. That's all I've been saying all along. So, and that's the only answer we have. And the more people that do it, and the less people use this stuff, the less of it gets pumped out of the ground and gets sold. And that's beginning to happen a little bit, but it's not happening enough. And one of the famous complaints about fossil fuels is, oh, well, everything that in your personal life is that you buy. You go down to the store, you buy plastics, you buy anything you buy uses fossil fuels to make it. You know. Well, it turns out but the actual number for that is 4%. So when it comes to making things that we buy, it accounts for 4% of fossil fuel production. So I can live with that. We need to do something about it someday, but we don't have to do something about it tomorrow. The most important things to do about fossil fuels is transportation and heating your home and cooling your home and in your personal life. That's priority number one. That 4% can come later, and we can whittle away at it in the meantime. I came from a time when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s. Plastics were kind of new, and they were in things, but there was a lot of old-fashioned things. They were still made out of wood and cloth, and I remember buying a soda pop and 24 wooden crates, and they were glass bottles. And when you got all done, I think you got 1 or 2 cents for each bottle. So you didn't throw them away, you didn't break them. You put them back in that wooden crate and took it back in, you traded them in for credit. And the truck would pick them up every week or so, and they'd take them down and wash them to the factory, and they'd clean them and reuse them. What a concept. Same thing, I think milk came that way, in bottles. Now, I'm not saying we need to go back to that, but there was an age before plastics where people made things out of other things, and that can happen again. This is not a rationale for saying don't bother to get off of, try to reduce your fossil fuel consumption. This 4% is not a valid rationalization. So that's all I got for you today. I'm running a bit long. This is my rant for the week, so there you have it. I have given fossil fuels and energy consumption a little bit of thought. Climate change and the Trump administration, just not. I'm sorry I'm not very coherent this week, but because I've been doing all these other things. But I have had a few ideas about it. So everybody, take care, be safe, and enjoy your life. I'm kind of like McPherson out here. Live a quality life and enjoy the time you have left. It doesn't have anything to do with climate change. We're all getting older, and we're all gonna die. So someday, it may not be from catastrophic climate change, but at least us older people. As I keep saying, we caught the last chopper out of Saigon, out of Vietnam, because the younger kids coming up behind us may not be so lucky. So, bye-bye, everybody. See you on down the road.